I did a video recently about a friend of mine that knocked me out over a Mars argument. He was talking about colonizing Mars. I was trying to tell him that that's impossible because it doesn't exist. But he actually lost a lot of weight. He was telling me that he was diagnosed with diabetes type 2, and that he was taking metformin, I think it's called. I know a lot about it because I was also diagnosed with diabetes in 2010, type 2. So it's what, 12 years? I'm not a mathematician, I do the best I can. But it was another one of those situations like that I know all about the shit. Like, the way I got out of it and the way I remained healthy is by just walking every day, exercise. And since I was diagnosed, I lost a lot of weight, which helped a lot because the reason I think I got type 2, it's not in my family, is all the psych meds I was on for, let me see, I went in 2008. I came out with like 11 different prescriptions, and it varied from 8 to 11 different prescriptions, multiple pills a day. So by 2010, I had gained a lot of weight, and add to that, the psych medicine is basically just different strengths of tranquilizer and or sleep aid. And I'm not a doctor, this is not medical advice, but I do have experience in it because I was on the medication. And that's the thing too with doctors, it's like whether it's mental health or medicine, they prescribe you all this stuff and they try to tell you about it. Meanwhile, they're not taking it, you are. So whenever you're in a situation with a doctor or a health, mental health clinician, the utmost authority in the room is you. Not them. When they carry on their laptop with Wikipedia loaded up, and I've seen this so many times. My medical doctor, when I used to go to doctors, since I stopped going, I don't have any problems. I still see a mental health clinician once a month, but they would always carry around their laptop with Wikipedia, and they would troubleshoot from that. And they'll tell you not to do your own research because you're not a professional. Which basically means you didn't pay enough money to get the piece of paper to hang on your wall that you are now a slave to. And you have to do what the people that gave you the paper say, or else they take the paper and then you lose your livelihood and you most likely still owe money for that piece of paper. So the whole thing is bullshit. But, yeah, I know I have all this information. It's the same thing like with, whether it's the jab or anything else. You have to talk to someone that doesn't know this stuff, and you can't possibly try to explain it to them. And then you add supernatural concerns onto it, the disintegrating veil, and try explaining people that shit. You can't. So I found that conversations among just people in my life, neighbors or friends, and even some close friends, it's just become hard. It's become hard to communicate with them because in your mind, you're experiencing two different worlds. They're experiencing the world that I used to be in. So I know what it's like, where my attitude toward the mental health industry, because that's what it is, when I first got put into it, was like, hey, these guys went to school for this stuff. They know what they're talking about. I should listen to them. So I did, and I almost died. And I ended up with type 2 diabetes, gained a lot of weight, and I slept for like 4 years. Again, they don't really know what this medication does because they're not on it. They don't take it, especially in the case of psych medication. They have no idea You know, they have their thing down about how they'll explain to you about how serotonin works and how reuptake inhibitors work and how it creates dopamine. It doesn't create dopamine. It's taking it from somewhere else in your brain. So what it does, it leaves a deficit somewhere else that you eventually have to pay for when you come off that medication. And that's why I've been battling for a couple of years trying to get off Effexor. I still can't. I take it every day. Otherwise, I mean, my mood changes dramatically. I become very angry, and I've, in the past, trying to come off it, I've had incidences. Nothing too serious. It's usually very insular. Not as bad as back in the day when I'd go running into the street and throwing batteries at cars and stuff. I'm not really doing that. But so what I do, and I've talked to people about this, is you have to open the capsule as far as Effexor, in the case of Effexor. And again, I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice, but I happen to know more than them because I'm fucking taking it. So you take the little balls in the capsule out, and you have to basically count backwards, like take 2 out one day, 1 out. I try to do it too fast. You should really take like 1 out a week. I know that's slow going, but what happens with me is whenever I take a couple out, I get on some kind of schedule, I start thinking, wow, this is going pretty good. And then that one day I'll take out too many of the balls, and then I have some sort of meltdown, and then my wife is like, look, you gotta just take one more. So then I'll just take one, a whole one, and then, old Jeb's a millionaire, back in the game. So I've been struggling with that. But, yeah, it's hard to tell people, like, and I've, since I've had my experiences with that, and with the diabetes thing, you can't explain that to someone. How can you? You tell them that, and, they live in that world that I used to live in, where you watch the news, and it's like, well, that's the information, and when you're not feeling well, you go to the doctor, and he explains to you the situation. If you have an interest in God, you go to church, and another man comes out in robes, and he explains it to you. They're always trying to get in between you and you. You know what I mean? They're always trying to jump in, like, oh, you want to know about mental health? Here comes a Khazar in a robe. You want to know about your medical health? Here comes a Khazar in a robe. You want to know about divinity? Well, here comes a pervert in a robe. It's like they always want to put some man or woman between you and understanding. And the reason they do that, a lot of times they don't know they're doing that. I don't think anyone gets into the medical field to gatekeep. It's a noble profession, initially, I would say, a lot of these people. Same thing with teaching, people get into teach because they want to teach kids. They don't know they're damaging them. It's the same thing. Anything that's of this system, that's of the beast system, that is, set up for you to be a part of, does not have your best interests in mind. You're being farmed. You're being farmed regardless. It's just how efficiently can they farm you. And that's really all it's about. But yeah, so, I'm listening to him go on about, and he's a good guy, and I feel bad that he's going through that. And it's tough because I know I could help, but I can't, And for this reason, I kind of avoided a lot of people that I used to know, friends and family, because I don't want to know how many extra boosters they have. I just don't want to know that, because then I have to sit there and go, oh, that's cool. And, perhaps they'd even ask me, like, well, what number are you on? And then, then what do you do? So, unfortunately, it's just easier to not interface with a lot of those people, So, yeah, made me think about it, because here I am with another situation where, I mean, and I don't know if the advice I would give is correct for him. I mean, these things help for me. What I do know for sure is that listening to the beast is not going to get you anywhere good. And you can extrapolate that in every direction. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.